So we just got back from World War Z.
And we both really liked the movie.
I actually have to agree. I did really like the movie. There's a few things that I'd like to throw in, but I'll let my mom speak first.
So, we are Geek Altitude, and we're doing this review of World War Z. It actually opens tomorrow, nationwide. I have not read the book, so I went into the movie completely clueless, except knowing that it was about zombies. And it had Brad Pitt in it.
Now, I did read the book, and I saw a lot of variable, inconsistencies, but I also saw a lot of consistencies with between the movie and the book. But from my perspective, it was a pretty well, interpretation via Hollywood status.
So, the things that I liked about the movie, I thought it was very fast-paced. It was really clever. I thought the dialogue was good. The interactions were good. There were a lot of different elements that you really saw it from the perspective of the main character, and the timing felt like it was really happening. So that was all really used to good effect. I thought the special effects were really, really good. The way the zombies moved, and especially when it was large groups, like swarming.
When they swarmed the walls.
Yeah, exactly. When they swarmed the walls, really, really effective and very plausible. I liked the fact that the storyline was something that was really, you could imagine it happening that way. It was very plausible. It was very well done.
It seems very likely to happen within the real world environment.
Exactly. It kind of reminded me of Stephen King's The Shining, not The Shining. Reminded me of Stephen King's
The Long Road?
No. We need to start over again.
The Last Stand.
The Stand.
The Stand, Last Stand.
We need to start over.
No, it's fun. We're Geek Altitude. Everybody loves this shit. Okay, so anyway.
Anyway, it reminded me of The Stand. It reminded me of The Stand. In that, you can really see a virus getting out of control that way and infecting people and...
In the real world.
In the real world.
Yeah.
Now, having read the book.
Having read the book, there were a lot of inconsistencies with the character bases. Now, they only chose to have one character be the main focus of the movie because he was searching...
Brad Pitt.
Yes, which is Brad Pitt. But what they neglected to do was go in and show how all of the other places around the world were trying to fight it off. In the book, there were aspects about this man. He was just a lone, blind, gardener, essentially, that went into the mountains to seek seclusion long before the outbreak. And then people started coming to him as a sanctuary because he had learned precisely what had, kept the zombies at bay, what their weakest points were, and he did all of that without any vision or anything like that. He used just all of his external senses. Now, they also left out the stuff about all the submarines getting the nuclear submarines getting knowledge that the world had broken out in a zombie apocalypse, and that the contingency plan might have had to been activated. They left out, a lot of really key points for the book. But the book is just it's too vast it has way too much depth for a 2-hour movie to capture it.
So really, in order to have been truly effective, you think it should have been maybe a miniseries?
No, not necessarily a miniseries. I think they could have done it better as a TV show or a season-based thing, so they could have season 1 being, the first 4 chapters of the book, and you get a little bit of backstory on each of the characters, versus, a TV or a movie where they have to cram everything into a really tight amount of space. You have no development of the characters.
What if they had pulled a Peter Jackson and divided it up into 2 or 3 movies?
Now, see, I could kind of see that, but I still just don't see enough room for the character development for it to expand the way that the book vividly makes it in your own head.
Okay. One thing about the movie, and I actually really, really liked the movie.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was great. You should definitely go see it. One thing that I really did like was the fact that it was completely standalone, but it did leave it open for a sequel.
It did, and that's one thing that I was really surprised and pleased about, because with that being open to the sequel, it allows them the opportunity that if they make enough money to make another sequel, that they can tie up all the loose ends and stuff that are from the book that weren't in the first movie. And I think that's going to be a big point in everything. Now, whether or not they're going to actually make enough money to make another movie based on the series is entirely up to the American population, you guys.
Well, and the book was the same way, correct? Where it left it open for more...
Not necessarily. It left it open for the possibility of the infection happening again. But not in the same way that a movie does. Like, it left it open to be like, okay, we've conquered it. You know, we've learned that winter slows down their metabolism to
No
a point where they're...
spoilers.
Alright, I can't do it then. I
Okay,
can't keep talking about the book.
So when it basically comes down to it, we both recommend
Going to see.
World War II.
Highly recommend going to see.
Good
It's
date
a great movie.
That girl that was down the road from us that kept squealing every time.
Yeah.
Something went boo on the, you know. Yeah, good date movie. If you want a movie where somebody's going to jump into your arms, that, you know, I think it's a good thing.
In 3D.
We did see it in 3D. I'm not sure how much different it would have been.
I think the only difference with the 3D stuff is the expression of all of the debris during the explosions. It gave it a lot more depth. Like you felt
And the
like you were more in it.
The
The
hallways.
hallways.
You know, when you see them.
You see how long they are.
Right.
You see how when they're traveling down them, how it's really like the motion through the hallway instead of like side scrolling
Right.
almost like through a hallway.
The other thing is in some markets it is being offered in IMAX. And while we did not have the opportunity to see it in IMAX yet, I think IMAX would be a really good alternative, just because of the scope of some of the shots and stuff, especially when they're doing, you know, like massive overviews of cities being overrun and buildings and just
Buildings collapsing, and there's a part in the beginning of the movie when they're still stuck in traffic. And as they're escaping the city, skyscrapers are collapsing due to explosions, and you see all of the debris just kind of like raining down on the people behind them where they had just been if they hadn't moved.
And this is from the commercial, so we're not giving anything away.
Yeah, I was about to say that's in the trailer. But what they don't show is really the depth of just how urgent it feels. They put such a really vibrant sense of urgency into the whole movie. Like, it keeps you wanting to see the next part. It keeps you like on the edge of your seat, and I think that's for me what the best part of the movie was.
Okay, excellent. Well, that's going to be all that we're going to do tonight for World War Z. We do want to remind everybody that we do have in a couple of upcoming episodes we are going to be doing a review of Casting Bones.
Awesome graphic novel. I did have the chance to read it, and I loved the way that it progressed.
The artwork progresses with the story and with the aging of the character. Yeah, it's very, very cool.
I liked the way the story progressed.
Oh, you just like the story.
Yes, I love the way the story progressed. The artwork is cool, but that's not what captured me.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that next time.